Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. For those of you who don't know, I have committed to you guys to send basically the best highlights or a recap of every week of CRL China because it's really hard for people out there to get this footage, and I know it's sometimes trend setting in terms of the meta and especially the competitive scene, so I will continue to do double uploads every Sunday and include, unless I'm traveling, and include the recaps of what happened this week in CRL China. And this week, last week, it was the story of Legend playing those fast cycle decks. I'll link that video in the description. This week, it was all about this gentleman on the right side of your screen right now. It is none other than Little Chen. Now, if you haven't heard that name before, well, you should become acquainted with it right now. He is widely considered to be the best player in China, certainly at the top, the tier 1 player, and a lot of people breathe, a lot of competitors breathed a sigh of relief when they found out that he couldn't get his visa in time to attend CCGS World Championships back in London in 2017. So he wasn't able to make it. However, he did qualify to get there, Little Chen, and he really proved just how good he is here in these 3 matches. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with how the rules and the matchmaking and the format go in CRL China, let me break that down for you right now. I'll include a little screenshot on the screen as well, so a little visual aid for those visual learners out there. It's the first team to win 3 sets wins for that day, okay? And the sets are as follows. Set 1 is best of 3 1v1. Set 2 is 2v2 best of 3, and those have to be 3 separate players, so you can't just run out your best player every single time. Set 3 is 1v1 best of 3 again. Set 4 is 1v1 best of 3 again. Again, all has to be different players on the 1v1 sets. And then set 5 is where we are right now in this match. This is set 5, and things are even 2-2. You can see the score right below my webcam. So this is the tiebreaker, and it's King of the Hill format. In other words, Little Chen, you can see those crowns to the left of Little Chen and Hai's names. That's how many players are remaining for each squad. So the winner stays on, and then the loser is eliminated. And then whoever has the final player standing at the end of this actually wins that day's results in the tournament. Okay, so I hope I explained that well enough for you guys. So Little Chen over here it's 2-2, it's do or die, and he runs the table. He runs the table, picking up the victory for Go over JDG. So that was really what everybody was talking about in CRL this weekend. And I just wanted to share these 3 matches with you guys. You can see we're already underway in the very first match here. So he's going against a Hai playing 3 Musketeers. And you can see he's really taking advantage of the Hunter in this deck. And Hunter's one of those interesting cards, right? It's very similar to Expo, where the usage rate is really low, but the win rate is actually surprisingly high, and we do see Hunter in competitive play. Now look at this, for example. Hunter's just absolutely destroying. He can, I think, 3-shot or maybe 4-shot a Dark Prince. Either way, he really takes care of even tanky, beefier units at close range incredibly well. It just might be one of those cards with a higher skill cap, but can be incredibly effective. And this is really, I don't know if this is the final push of the game or not, but you can see he just 2-shot that miner. He's getting a little bit of damage to the tower, taking it down to 403. So it's not the final push, but one more solid miner poison push or something, or even a giant push, as you can see here from Little Chen, will indeed secure this victory. And you can see he knows it here with that poison down, and so does Hai. He's not too happy about it. So let's go ahead, and I tried to get as many cute kids from the audience as I can for you guys. So hopefully I can get one in the go-between. I basically cut out the matches because I do have a lot of downtime. They play some really cool commercials though, in the Clash Royale commercials that I've never seen before in CRL China. There we go, cute kid delivered. You gotta have the cute kids in the front row cheering on their favorite player. In this case, maybe Little Chen. He's going against Mr. Aya. Mr. A, we'll call him. Anyway, going against Mr. A, and he is playing the Hut deck. I believe it's a graveyard deck that he's going against now. And he's going to go to Expo, and he's going to start out with a defensive Expo. More importantly, getting that Expo down so it targets the opponent's Goblin Hut. And Goblin Hut definitely saw its fair share of action throughout all of these matches in CRL China. Now he has a defensive Expo, and we're going to wait for Mr. A to make the next move here. So he starts out by cycling just an Ice Golem in the back. Kind of an awkward situation for Mr. A here. He can't really even go in for a big graveyard push here necessarily because he figures Little Chen has a spell and he already has that defensive Expo already kind of set up there. And as you guys obviously are aware, Expo's health is really considerable, right? So even though the defensive Expo, or if an Expo locks onto your tower with like 10, 20% health left, it can still be a recipe for disaster. So Little Chen shows what his spell is. It is indeed Fireball, as you would expect in the 2.9, the quintessential 2.9 Expo cycle deck that is really one of the strongest decks right now in the meta altogether. You can almost, any good player, especially in a matchup like this, where he's going to do a very, very nice job of using his saving his archers for the graveyard, and then if the opponent responds with poison, he's going to be able to just cycle quick answers to the opponent here, like an Ice Spirit, for example. He has skeletons as well, and sometimes he'll take a little bit of incidental damage, as you saw there. So now he knows that Mr. A went in with a pretty aggressive push there with the graveyard push in single elixir time. We're actually getting very close. We're actually in now, double elixir officially. But he decides to go ahead with an offensive Expo, see what he's going to throw at him there. He's safe for another graveyard cycle right now, so he's safe to play his archers as well, figuring that he's not going to cycle to a graveyard this quickly. And Mr. A must probably see this as an opportunity to go in. And Mr. Little Chen, kind of playing this chess game here, kind of figures, you know what, I'm just going to go with another Expo opposite lane right now because I don't have my archers in hand to defend if Mr. A wants to go in with an aggressive graveyard right now. So good job kind of playing a little bit of defense there through offense. Even though he wasn't able to walk away with any damage onto the tower, he's able to cycle to another Fireball to take care of that hut and get a little bit more chip damage or spell damage on that left tower. However, Mr. A is like, yeah, dude, I got an answer for you. Another Goblin Hut. How annoying. So again, we're going to answer again with the defensive Expo. Hopefully, we'll be able to stop this push. It's going to be a big one here for Mr. A. He has the Graveyard of the Dark Prince, but we actually set up very nicely there. We force out an opponent out of the, we force, excuse me, the opponent to choose. Where does he want to place that poison? And he misses the Expo and he misses the Archer. Not something that he was looking for. And you can see there by his facial expressions, guys, that he was none too happy about it. So now we are going all in on our very first Expo. Serious, proper Expo push here, where we basically just cycled the Ice Golem and supported it with a Tesla as well. And we get that tower down to 1206 damage. So that was really the first big turning point here for Little Chen. Little Chen knows that all he really needs is one more Expo lock, and if he doesn't get it, heck, he can probably just Fireball cycle here now that he's around 800 damage. So you can see he's going to start being a little bit more aggressive with his logs here and just making very, very quick work. And you can see if you kind of break this match down, he's going to start Fireball cycling there. If you break this match down, guys, you can kind of see how it evolved, right? Little Chen was incredibly passive. He wasn't afraid to play 2, I think maybe even 3 defensive Expos throughout that match. He wasn't afraid to use defensive Teslas as well. He basically used every tool in his arsenal to figure out every last card in his opponent's deck. And then once he knew and he waited for a pretty aggressive push, he was ready to start pounding down those Expos and just Expo cycling in that left lane like you saw. So this is one of my favorite matches. I think this is my favorite match of the 3 that I saved for last because it was last, Ash. So here it's going to be Little Chen playing against Bobo. Again, Bobo, the third player, obviously, from JDG team. And you guys can see how the format works. You can see the crowns there on the right. Again, first player to get 3 crowns, or first team, excuse me, to get 3 crowns, knocking out all of the opponent's players, all of the opposing team's players, comes out with a victory there. So Bobo starts out with, you know, all the cards that you'd expect to see in the Goizen deck. Goizen Double Prince, that is. And it is indeed the Goizen double prince deck. Little Chen is playing the deck that is absolutely dominating everywhere right now. It's the Exec-Nado deck with Hog. However, he does have one kind of difference, one small difference in his deck, and he has Knight in the deck instead of Ice Golem. So he's going to be able to save guards for the prince, and he's going to have some really awesome plays here with the guards throughout this match. He's going to redirect the Dark Prince away from the guards, and then use the guards afterwards onto the regular prince when he has to deal with the two princes coming at him in tandem. So again here, we basically know what every card in the opponent's deck is, and the opponent already knows what every card in Little Chen's deck is. And you can see he does get a little bit of damage on the right tower, so splitting our damage here, but we've basically ascertained every card, figured out exactly what the opponent's playing. So now we're able to do predictive plays from here on out as we enter into double elixir time. So at this point, just going to go ahead and let that knight die and see what the opponent does here. With this deck, one thing that you want to be careful of when going against, a Goizen deck, especially this Goizen version, is you really have to be cautious not to overcommit to defense right away, because oftentimes they will pressure opposite lanes. So let me give you an example. If we had dropped the Executioner there, the knight and guards all to stop that giant prince push, the opponent could have easily hit us opposite lane with like a Dark Prince and Bats or something like that. We wouldn't have had a great answer to that, and that's where you can get yourself into trouble. So here we're going to use the knight very adeptly to kind of kite around both of these princes. We will take a charging prince to the left tower, certainly not what we love to have happen here, but we're forcing the opponent to split his damage, and then we respond as well with a hog to the tower on that left tower of our own. Now we have a double prince push. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of chip damage with that log, and then we're going to use the guards again. This is exactly what I was talking about here. He's going to use the knight to distract that Dark Prince and then place the guards on the regular prince, and again coming away with a really successful defense there in the left lane. Just when that giant gets to the right tower, we allow him to get one hit, but it's okay because you can see Bobo has to continue to split his damage from both of the towers. When I think of Bobo in China, I think of Nova's Bobo, and it's weird for me to see the JDG Bobo. Just a little side note for there. Shout out to Nova Bobo if you're watching. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what happens here. There's a big monster push here in the right lane. Instead of getting super aggressive and trying to have like a tower race here, a base race, we decide to play things cautiously again, use our Nado, use our Executioner. This time we're able to save log, and that's going to be a game changer. So we're able to pre-log here and force the opponent not to be able to play his Goblin Gang, which was his best counter in hand there. So now we can just rely again on the Exec-Nado combination in guards, the same kind of way we did before, and hopefully get a hog to that left tower and take the tower down just in the nick of time here. Indeed, we do. We had that Nado in cycle if we needed it for that right tower and that giant. So there it is, guys. Little Chen sweeps the entire opposing team. I hope you continue to enjoy this CRL China footage, guys. It's really something that I plan to do every week. Again, if you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve or change the format, be sure to let me know. I also want to let you guys know that I have partnered with Do Recorder. They're a great recording application, the best in my opinion, and I've said this in other videos before in an unbiased format before we are partnered together. It's the best way to high quality record your videos and to stream directly from the app. So I'm super excited about this new partnership, guys. I will be also doing giveaways for you guys to submit your replays and your funny intros for me to use in my actual videos, as well as hopefully take home some gift cards and some fun prizes courtesy of Do Recorder. So guys, be sure to check out those videos in the future, and a huge shout out to Do and welcome to the channel. Speaking of the channel, check out Little Chen's player statistics on Clash Royale, my other YouTube partner, and of course a huge shout out to my YouTube sponsor Bren Chong from the beginning. Check out Bren's information in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.